Emotional pain and turmoil, guys. I know that is something that we all go through. And I know that this can be against the norm, but I'm happy that we all go through it. Because ultimately, the pain is what gives our life meaning, and that is what gives our life purpose. Yeah. Anyway, though, guys, this has been something that has really been on my mind, and God placed it there for me to speak on, and it looks to be as if it's today for that to be the moment and time. And look, emotional pain, especially for those who may have had, let's say, emotional abuse or been in dysfunctional emotional relationships, it's often the, let's say, thing that is not looked at or kind of pushed to a side, like, oh, it's emotional. And that is something, especially as men, that we avoid. And unfortunately, before, but definitely fortunately now, I had my experience with so much emotional pain and discomfort in my life growing up a lot. And that really impacted me in so many ways. It really hindered relationships for me growing up personally. I remember that those emotions would be there, and because they were just very off putting and it was just very, let's say, overwhelming at a young age, I would oftentimes try to break off from friendships or relationships, even if they weren't anything serious, but just any type of relationship I would try to break off out of fear of repeating an emotional loop. And I've said this before, however, I believe it's important to say it now, where the type of household that I lived in, I'm very grateful for my parents. It's just at the time, let's say, I didn't have much emotional support. And as a child, that's something that you very much need. And I would always have those highs and lows, not in a bipolar sense, but rather in a how I felt sense. And it was just weird because I also got this thing for my parents that was like, okay, if you're feeling this emotion, no, you're not allowed to be sad. So I just always remember equating feeling sad with punishment or something bad. And the reality with doing that is sadness will come. It's a part of life. And it's an emotion that we have for a reason. It's just when you have a relationship towards sadness that is bad, then every time that it presents itself, what you're going to do is make it even worse by running away from it, by demonizing it, by doing all of these things. And ultimately, that's not the idea. That isn't going to grow you, that isn't going to take you to where you need to go. It's only going to prolong a state. So, why am I making this video? I'm really making this video so that everyone watching this understands that that pain that you're feeling emotionally has a reason. And so, if you've gone through a divorce or a big breakup or anything of that nature, those are going to be the biggest, let's say, wounds because we weren't engineered to have those as humans. However, God works in mysterious ways. And so God will aid you and heal those wounds completely if you give them to God. And a lot of the times within our body, right, in these processes where we go through that healing emotionally, we observe it and say, man, this is terrible. This is terrible. I can't wait till this passes. Or a lot of the times you may not even believe that it will pass. And the first thing is to remember when you're in those states is to know that it will always pass. Always will. Even if your mind tells you it won't, it will always pass. And secondly is to know that in that period, you're getting meaning. Because meaning oftentimes is found in pain. And with that newfound meaning, your life will have newfound pleasures on the other side. Because if you're with God, if you're a believer, God sees what you're doing. God sees you're enduring this test and this challenge, and He will reward you handsomely. But only if you stay in it, you stay in the fight, and you can have moments of frustration, but don't take your eyes away from God. Don't view God as being the bad party here. Understand it's a process. And beautiful rewards are in store for you on the other side. And you are gaining wisdom in this process that you wouldn't have gotten. And then if you looked back in your life 10 years after that event, and you say, would I enjoy this life as much now if I didn't have the wisdom of these tribulations? And you would say, of course not. That's why a child born into a rich family who has never experienced difficulties is never going to have that same connection to the money or wealth or feeling of it as someone who was born from a poor family and then became rich, because all the meaning is in the money that they've garnered. And that's vital. All of that is extremely vital. So don't run away from the emotions. Embrace them completely. And I know you will have moments where maybe you want to curl up into a ball. I've been there myself, for sure. Maybe you want to curl up into a ball. Maybe you want to lie on the floor, whatever it may be. Maybe you just want the pain to end. And you start to look at things that wouldn't be the best for your health to aid this. Maybe you look for pleasure on the outside. May that be sexually, with drugs or things like that. It's just know that any of these things that you do, for one, isn't going to change it. It never will. All it does is create a temporary distraction that only prolongs the period. And God sees what you're going through. So if you prolong the period, God has the timing, everything set for you. So when you do that, all you're doing is disrupting God's timing for you. When you go out of your way and create these distractions for the healing. It's just, even look at it logically. The longer that you do something, the longer you wait for it to go or to pass, the longer it will stay. And if you want to get out of it, wouldn't it be best to handle it now? That's why if you have a difficult assignment, what do? What would be the best thing to do? Would be to do it now. So when you're in this emotional pain and discomfort, sure, you could put it off somewhere else. However, it's always going to be there. And then when you're making decisions in the future, all of those are going to be out of fear of this thing coming back up and being present once again. All of them will. It will all be out of fear of that. Of, oh, this is going to come up and this is just going to ruin me when it comes up again, because you've already told yourself that when this thing comes up, I'm not capable of handling it. That's why I push it completely to the back. So you need to really embrace it. Embrace those emotions. Embrace the pain. Because on the other side of pain and fear lies love and success. And pain is the greatest teacher. And there can be excessive pains. However, pain, when you are a follower of God and of Jesus Christ, only fills deeper connection to God. It only fills you with wisdom, only makes you a more capable individual on this earth, only gives your life more meaning, which only gives your life more fulfillment. Because none of these other things of idol are going to fill you. None of them. Guys and gals, I can elaborate this if you guys would like in another video, but I speak to you as someone who I was the worldly man. I was that. Other than, let's say, Cristiano Ronaldo, these big time athletes, whatever you want to say, I was the worldly man. Like, think about the worldly men in your city who, let's say, weren't celebrities at the time. That's who I was. You understand what I'm saying? And I can tell you with that, which is the life that guys of my age, let's say in the 20s and Gen Zs, and just guys in general, really, wish and aspire to be, oh man, I want to be like that guy. Let me tell you now, you don't want to be like that guy. It provides more headaches than not. It distracts you from God. It distracts you from the important things. It distracts you from growing and becoming stronger and being that individual and person who God has created and has ordained for you to be. And it will just bring chaos into your life, never ending. I mean, that's just what it is, man. Because if you're a worldly man and the world is fallen, what's going to come into your life? Fallen things. And fallen things in a life inherently are falling. And if they're falling, they're decaying. So that's what will come into your life, decay. Oh man, never ending. So, yeah, don't worry about that. Don't become that worldly person, which emotional pain a lot of the time can make someone become. All of a sudden, they don't believe in God. All of a sudden, they want to find distractions. And then, I mean, due to this, so many times, people get into relationships due to this. Oh, and then you have a kid. And so then when it inevitably passes, now you have a child in a relationship that was never meant to be. And so now your life is affected in a way it was never meant to be. And if you're that person, right, because I'm not here to poo-poo you or push you to the side, just know, hey, I love you. And know this. Know, okay, this is where you are. You have to be real with yourself. You have to say, okay, I'm here because of my mistakes. All right. And now work with God. Because God will resolve any issue, anything at all that you have that's occurring, God will resolve and change completely. I hope you understand that. If there's anything you take from this, it's that. It's even in the deepest emotional chaos and emotional qualms and emotional difficulties, God is here to help and to guide you. So never lose sight of that. In fact, bask in it. Bask in the pain that you feel, because you will thank yourself later. And you will look at this person that you've become in comparison to someone else who never went through these emotional pains and say, well, I would much rather be this person with this wisdom, with this strength. And I know that my wife and family appreciate me having gone through this indirectly. Maybe they say, oh, I'm so sorry that you went through this. However, you're a stronger person and more capable of loving due to these events. So you have more respect even from those close to you, your family, your loved ones in that way. And that's what matters as a man. And as a lady, know that these emotions in this period is only temporary. Don't run from it. Enjoy it. Pray to God. God has you. You are a gift. And all of these things occurring that can be seen as negative are only gifts waiting to come to you in the future. Much love, guys. Take care.